So yeah, that was the plot of the Doctor Who TV movie, which honestly I didn't think it would, me basically talking about the plot of the Doctor Who TV movie would actually only go on for that short period of time, but yeah, that was basically the plot of the movie in a nutshell. So yeah, what did I think about it? I actually ended up really liking this movie. I thought it was gonna be like, oh, this is probably gonna be like, this is either gonna go okay, or maybe I'm not gonna like it. But no, I actually really enjoyed it. I think the music in the movie is great. The actors are great, especially I definitely liked Paul McGann's role as the Doctor in here. He definitely took a bit of time for me to get used to, but by the end of the movie, I'm like, yep, that's him. That's definitely the Doctor. I could definitely see that in him. I definitely liked Grace. She was interesting. Eric Roberts, definitely, I would say his master was an interesting portrayal. Like, not in the interesting as in like, oh, this is like quite a amazing portrayal. Like, this is something that Roger Delgado would be on tier with. Not really. But yeah, it was Eric Roberts. He did a decent master. Yeah, like I said, not amazing, but still pretty good. Um, but yeah, interesting movie overall. I enjoyed it. I do want to point out that it's interesting that they made the movie's plot take place, on New Year's Eve of 1999, despite the fact that the movie came out in '96. So I'm not sure why they decided to do New Year's idea, plots for the film, but oh well, it worked. I mean, at least there wasn't anything in 1999 in that movie that was very out of the blue, like, oh, there'd be flying cars there. There was none of that. It's definitely how I guess people in '96 would have predicted what 1999 would have been like, and they ended up being right. Well, obviously, besides Time Lords existing in that universe, of course, but besides that, as I've mentioned multiple times, really interesting movie. If you guys haven't seen it yet, definitely go check it out. There's multiple ways to watch it. I don't know if it's on any streaming services that I know of. I do know it's had a few physical media releases over the years. It's been on VHS, DVD, and to my knowledge, as of right now, the UK is the only country that released this movie on Blu-ray. That's how I was able to watch it. So there's the cover right there. Which, funny enough, I didn't realize that the cover was actually designed by an artist by the name of Lee Binding, the same guy who does the collection box arts this one for an example. Same artist. So, since I'm talking about the physical media releases of the Doctor Who TV movie, I must talk about one weird thing that they did with the physical media releases of the Doctor Who movie. So, since the movie was produced in Canada, it was filmed in Canada and it was produced in the US, it of course used the NTSC video format. And since Doctor Who was a British show, and I guess they broadcasted this into the UK, they converted, I guess, the original NTSC footage into PAL footage to make the film work well in the UK. For some strange reason, in all the VHS, DVD, and Blu-ray releases of the TV movie, they used the PAL formats, and for some reason with the PAL format of the TV movie, they basically unintentionally sped up the movie. When the movie first came out on in early May 1996, and it premiered in Canada on May 12th, and then 2 days later it premiered May 14th in the US on Fox, I believe. So yeah, they used the NTSC format for that, but all the home media releases of this movie used the PAL format, and yeah, like I said, the NTSC movie was 89 minutes long, but thanks to the PAL format, the movie was slightly sped up, so the PAL format that I ended up watching was 85 minutes long instead. So basically 4 minutes less than the NTSC version, which there was no scenes that were cut out. It was just the movie went by a little bit quicker than the original American version, so pretty strange, but hopefully they'll eventually fix that in a future release. Maybe they'll eventually add the TV movie into the collection range, but who knows? So, this movie was the first attempt at, bringing back Doctor Who after the original classic series ended production. So, this was, of course, produced in Canada and the US, so it was kind of like, made to, I guess kind of appeal to American audiences, almost as much as the British audiences of the original show. However, the movie didn't do that well in the US in terms of its TV ratings. It only got like 5.6 million viewers on its premiere nights, which, funny enough, if something nowadays were to have 5.6 million viewers, that would be considered a freaking success. But like, the movie was a lot more successful in the UK as it had 9 million viewers when it was broadcasted there. So, unfortunately, because of the failure of the movie in the US, what was, I guess, going to be the first attempt at a Doctor Who revival never ended up happening because of it, which I do kind of say it's kind of a shame, because I honestly, kind of like with the K9 and Company pilot that I talked about 2 years ago, where they attempted to make like a pilot of Doctor Who featuring K9 and Sarah Jane. I'm very curious, like, what they would have, like, done with Doctor Who, like, what that revival series would have been like after the TV movie. Like, I'm very curious. We probably would have had we would have had more Paul McGann, maybe Grace would have made a couple more appearances. I don't know. Like, it just makes me wonder, like, what Doctor Who would have been like if, like, it actually continued, like, not too long after the TV movie came out. Like, maybe we had, like, another season in 1997, so it makes me wonder, like, what the movie would have been like. Not movie, what makes me wonder what the first revival would have been like if it happened in the 90s rather than 2005. But seeing that, like, some people kind of criticized, the way that Doctor Who TV movie, like, kind of was a bit too Americanized, for, its main core audience. I guess to a certain extent it was best that, like, it was just that movie and nothing else, but it would have been at least still interesting to see what they had plans for. But yeah, that definitely doesn't mean I hate the revival at all. I love the modern series of Doctor Who. Well, mostly the earlier seasons, but still. But I think that's really all I gotta say about the Doctor Who TV movie, except for one thing. I just forgot to mention one thing. I did mention how I loved the music in the TV movie. When I was looking at the opening credits, I saw the name John Debney was the composer for the Doctor Who TV movie. Now, John Debney was the composer for a show that I started watching recently called Sequest DSV, which was a American sci-fi series in 1983, which was executive produced by Steven Spielberg and featured Roy Scheider as the main character. And Roy Scheider, as you guys know, played Chief Brody in Jaws, so very interesting to see that. I had no idea that the guy who composed Sequest also composed a Doctor Who TV movie, so kind of an interesting little fun fact for you guys. But yeah, after the TV movie, the show wouldn't come back for another 9 years, and for like 17 years, this was the only, like, on-screen appearance of Paul McGann as the Eighth Doctor up until 2013 with the Night of the Doctor shorts, which came out in honor of the 50th anniversary of Doctor Who, and it pretty much showed the Eighth Doctor eventually regenerated into the War Doctor. And besides Paul McGann's 2 on-screen appearances as the Eighth Doctor, he had a lot more, exposure with the Eighth Doctor thanks to the Big Finish audio plays, which definitely explored more of his Doctor, had him, like, encounter some of the iconic Doctor Who villains like the Daleks and the Cybermen. Pretty much, like I said, expanded on his character, pretty much gave Paul McGann some more material, and kind of would, I guess to a certain extent, give us somewhat of an idea about, like, what it would have been like if, like, Paul McGann had, like, his own season of Doctor Who, which, funny enough, after the Night of the Doctor short came out in 2013, a lot of people requested Stephen Moffat, who was the producer of Doctor Who at the time, to make a Paul McGann spin-off series, but unfortunately Stephen Moffat was against that, which, even to this day, like, even after watching that movie, I'm all for them doing, like, a Paul McGann, like, spin-off series. 60th anniversary is coming up next year. Maybe Russell T Davies might do something for that. Who knows? There's been no announcements for it yet, but maybe they'll surprise us, I mean, Paul McGann is still there, he's still playing the Eighth Doctor in audio plays, I'm sure they could work something out, but who knows? Just wishful thinking. And speaking of actors from this movie, Eric Roberts, who, played the Master in the Doctor Who TV movie, has, just like with Paul McGann as the Eighth Doctor, Eric Roberts returned to play the Master in various Big Finish audio plays, such as Series 5 of The Diary of River Song, Volume 4 of Doctor Who Ravenous, and also reprised his role in an audio play called The Master, which came out last year in honor of the 50th anniversary of the Master's introduction to Doctor Who, and pretty much had him reprising his role of the Master alongside, other actors who have played the Master, like Jeffrey Beavers, Michelle Gomez, so on and so forth. So, just to end this pretty, decently long review of the Doctor Who TV movie, I pretty much enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun to watch. Yeah, I can't really say much else. I really liked it. So, I will give this a score of a 7.5 out of 10. Not necessarily the best thing Doctor Who has ever made, but, it could be worse. So hopefully you enjoyed my review of the Doctor Who TV movie. So, if you guys did, feel free to give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more episodes of It Came From England, or just mediocre plush content in general. Also, feel free to hit the bell for notifications so you get notified each time I upload a new episode of It Came From England, or just any other series in general. Leave a comment down below letting me know what you think. That's about it. This is Tyler from the Character Workshop, signing out. And yeah, this will be the last regular episode of It Came From England for quite some time, since Season 7 will be on hold because I am currently waiting for the BBC to release Season 2 of Classic Doctor Who on Blu-ray, because literally, as I was making my Dalek Invasion of Earth review, they announced that, oh, hey, we're releasing Season 2 on Blu-ray, and I'm like, wow. It's going to take me a while to, go back to Season 7 and, start doing that season, since, I do plan on talking about a couple more Season 2 stories for Season 7 of It Came From England, so, yeah, you're going to have to wait a while for, more regular episodes to come out, but hopefully you guys are patient enough. I got other stuff on the channel, I still got 2CW going on, I still got My Full Mondays, Place for Zombies Pushified, and of course that new Mr. Land series. If you guys haven't seen that yet, definitely check that out. But yeah, I will see you guys later. I do have a plan for maybe a Halloween special. Don't quote me on this, but when it comes out, you'll find out.